In the early hours of Friday, June 13th, 2025, the Israeli military launched a large-scale coordinated operation, codenamed Operation Rising Lion, targeting over 100 sites across Iran. These unprecedented airstrikes hit sensitive nuclear facilities, military bases, and most tragically, residential buildings housing leading Iranian scientists. What set this operation apart was not just its scale or precision, but its devastating focus, a calculated wave of targeted assassinations. Among the victims were some of Iran's most prominent figures in nuclear science, advanced materials, energy engineering, and AI research. Names like Dr. Feridun Abbasi Davani, former head of the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran, Dr. Mohammad Mehdi Tehranchi, former president of Islamic Azad University, and Dr. Mansour Askari, senior official at the Defense Innovation and Research Organization, SPND, stood out among those killed in their homes, many alongside their families. In total, more than 15 senior scientists and researchers were assassinated during the strikes on June 2025. Several of them were internationally recognized experts, some previously targeted or sanctioned by Western intelligence agencies, while others were simply rising stars in physics, medicine, or AI. The Israeli military officially admitted responsibility, labeling these individuals as key figures in Iran's nuclear advancement, and justified their killing as part of a preventive security doctrine. The strikes, referred to as Operation Narnia, are the culmination of a two-decade-long policy of targeted assassinations aimed at undermining Iran's scientific and technological infrastructure. But never before had such operations reached this scale, coordination, and level of brutality. Internationally, the backlash was swift. China, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Turkey, and member states of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization all condemned the attacks, calling them blatant violations of the UN Charter, Iran's sovereignty, and fundamental principles of international law. However, many Western governments responded with cautious neutrality, failing to name Israel or issue direct condemnations, drawing sharp criticism from independent legal and human rights bodies. Within Israel, dissenting voices emerged. The newspaper Haaretz warned of the dangerous precedent being set. Journalist and activist Orly Noy described the operation as a product of militaristic arrogance, arguing that Israel's greatest threat is not Iran or Hamas, but its own reliance on force and impunity. From a legal standpoint, these assassinations constitute a flagrant breach of Article 2 of the UN Charter and the international prohibition on the use of force. Killing civilian scientists on foreign soil, especially outside a declared armed conflict, amounts to extrajudicial execution and state terrorism. Even in the context of an armed conflict, the intentional targeting of civilians and non-military infrastructure is strictly prohibited under international humanitarian law and may constitute a war crime. Legal experts warn that such acts could trigger international accountability mechanisms. While Israel is not a party to the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court, ICC, the court has recently issued arrest warrants for senior Israeli officials in other cases. Moreover, under the principle of universal jurisdiction, national courts in over 160 countries are empowered to prosecute individuals involved in war crimes and crimes against humanity, regardless of where they were committed. This raises a fundamental question. Will the international community remain silent in the face of a systematic campaign to eliminate a nation's scientific elite? Or will it take a stand against the normalization of state-sponsored assassination? Because if such crimes go unpunished today, the precedent may endanger scientific, medical, and civilian communities everywhere tomorrow.